Hi, it's Paul here from Interact Software. Today what we're going to be doing is having a looking at the options with the color schemes in Interact, how to add a new one, how to select an existing one and apply it for yourself or the whole system, how to modify the themes, and also I'll go through all the elements that you can change with the different color themes. So to get into this, you'll normally need admin access, but depending on this, how the system is set up, you might have access anyway, but you're looking for an icon, something like this from the main menu. It could be a box as well, but it'll get into the system setup. And from there should be one called colors that you can click on here. So I'll just click onto that one. And that will bring up the list of all the colors that are in the system at the moment. And there is a big list already, lots of different sort of themes that have been already set up. Any one of these you can select for yourself for the whole system to define that it applies for your login. You can also have elements of the screen that you can apply a different theme or multiple themes to the one system. So I can show you that later as well. But the first thing I'm going to show you is if, for instance, you're using a theme, how to copy that theme. So we're using this one for the moment, this IA 2023-05. So I'll just go into that and just have a quick look at it. So lots of different things here. I'll go through that a bit later, but I'll just show you firstly how to copy an existing theme because I don't want to change this one. I'm going to create a new one to copy that. So I'm just going to click on the color template field. Can be any input field, it doesn't need to be this one particular. But if I just push enter there, it remembers it as the last thing I've saved or changed in the system. So if I come out of there now and push escape, and I just use this option here, which is record and last. You can use F10 as well as another option, but this record and last will do the job. What it will do is we'll add a new record and duplicate everything, ready to create a new ID. So I'm just going to call it 06 just for the purpose of this video, as another one there. And I can change things manually here, make any adjustments, but for the moment I'm just going to click over here and save it as it is. So it's really just identical to the 05 option at this point. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the things that we can do once we've got a new theme set up. We can just simply run this number 2 here, which is a color change function. And what that allows you to do is, for instance, to swap out a color to another color. So you can change, for instance, all the green elements to blue elements, or the red elements to blue elements or green elements, that sort of thing. So it's talking about the color is broken down into RGB, or red, green, blue. So you can do that sort of thing. You can also just lighten or darken elements with the L option. And you can also test a single color. So the main ones you'll probably use here is the C and the L, which is quite good. So I'll just use the C just to show you how that works. So here we're going to swap it out. So let's change the green to a blue, for example. So all the values that were green would now be blue, and all the values that were blue will now be green. Okay, so that's done, and it's just asking, do you want to run something else? I'm going to say no, I'm going to quit. Q. Now it hasn't just changed it yet, but if I just escape out and push enter to go back into the line, you can see it's a new one on the list now. You can see that it's all changed to more of a blue theme, which is what we wanted. So from this, what I'll do is I'll just set it as my theme for myself. So this is this option here, set color theme for user. You can set it for the whole system as well, but just for the moment, I'm going to just set it for myself. Let's do that. And yes, I'm going to apply this theme for myself. It is asking here if we want to apply it for another user as well, but I'll say no for that. Okay, so it's applied it for myself. So what I'll be able to do now, if I just restart my session, which will just log out, log back in, then it's applied that theme. So I've got it for myself there. So as you can see what it looks like. But what we're going to do is make some adjustments to that. So I'll come back into my settings, go into colors, pick out my theme again, and what I'm going to do now is I'll go through all these elements just to describe what they're all about. So first one over here are the normal buttons that you'll see normally on the main menu, for example, and whether they're active, inactive, when you hover over them or pressed. So you've got the background or text colors and the border colors for each of those the states of the buttons, and other parts of it, like if it's got an edge to it or the position of the image and the text on the button. Same sort of thing with a pop-up form. So you can set the colors for the buttons on the pop-up form. You can set the actual pop-up form sizes and boxes within the pop-up form and the style of those buttons as well. This middle section is all about a record screen, so like what we're looking at right here. So you can set things like the screen color, you can put a gradient as a screen, you can also have a watermark if you put an image in here, and then you can do things like setting the actual input fields, so anything you can click on and change, that's the style of those fields. Anything you can't input, that's the style of those, and the current selected input field has got this particular style. So if we click on here, you can see that the colors have changed to these sort of colors that we can see on the screen here. So then it's got things like the headings, which are the elements in this case. You can't actually see it, but it's actually grayed out here, so we might change the that heading to be a different color. But yeah, other things like the box sizes, so these are the boxes around text. The pop-up menu, which is this element here, you can change the color of that. The help text down the bottom, or the tab menu are across here as well. And then you've got other things like the top buttons. So across here, you've got these buttons here. You can set those, again, the active, inactive, hover, and pressed colors for them. The whole panel, which is this line here, you can set the text and the background for that. There are some other little elements to the right-hand side, which is just off our screen, that you could set as well. And then you've got the list size, the list colors as well. So anytime you look at a list like this, that's the colors that you're going to be seeing on there. So you've got non-ID fields, ID fields, and then alternative lines. You can have a different color for every second line. The headings, the highlighting, list totals, and the grid line through the whole list. Then on the right-hand side, we've got the font definition. So again, this is the relating to each of the in this case, the display screens or the record screens, the pop-ups, and the lists, and you can set the sizes and font styles for each of those elements. And this part here is all about the widths and heights of all the fields on the screen. So each of these elements can be set in it's like in a grid in a way, but it's setting the height of those grids and the width of those grids. So when you change these or increase or decrease that will then fill up or reduce the amount of space it takes up on the screen. So we've mostly designed most of these screens to fill into a 1024 by 768, which is quite a small size screen, but some of these things, like this particular screen, requires a larger screen even for this smaller size to be able to see it. But if you've got bigger screens, and obviously there's a lot bigger resolutions out there these days, you can set these fields to a lot bigger numbers to fill out more of the screen. So you can see our particular screen here that for the video isn't filled up right down to the bottom and to the side. So what we're going to do using this new Profile 06, we're going to fill in that screen a bit more and make the fonts a bit bigger and things like that. So let's do that now. Let's make the fonts, we'll make them size 11, okay? So we're going from 8 to 11 for all of them. So I'll just fill these in down the screen, just clicking on each and changing each of the elements to be from 8 to 11. I won't change the bolding of it at all, but let's make these a bit bigger. So I'll make that 630. And it's just more of a proportional sort of thing, really, is the easiest way to describe what we're doing here. So it just makes it so, okay, this is going to be 50% sort of bigger than it was before, roughly. So I normally just change these. I don't normally change that field bump, just the other ones are the main ones I use. And what I'll do now is I'll set that for my user. Okay, so I'll apply this for myself. We want to change for another user. No. Okay, now I've done that. So when we come back into here, you'll notice that this is more filled in than it was before. So let's now restart. And you'll notice on the front screen, all the buttons are a lot bigger than they were before. If I come into here and look at the colors, again, that list is a lot bigger than it was before. Go into line 6, and you can see that even at that size, we're actually not seeing on the video the fields that we set before, the sizes. So it's a lot bigger than it was before. So I can reduce it or increase it and decrease it to fill in the space. But for me, that's actually right. Like you're not actually seeing my whole screen there. So that size is actually probably pretty good for me. But you'll need to make sure that all your users that use that size or that particular theme have got the right screen to be able to see all the elements on the screen. So you can, as I mentioned before, set it for yourself or set it for all users. So in this case, you might be wanting to, while you're testing it, set it just for yourself. But if I want to say go back to my previous theme, I could set that for my user again, and then I can log out. Restart. And when it comes back in, you'll see that we're back to the smaller theme as we had before. So when I come back into my colors, it's a lot smaller than before. I can go into that new theme, and you can see all the sizes that new theme was and what it changed to. But it's a lot smaller on the screen than it was before. So that's a good way to do it. So that's using that last function to copy the previous theme that you have been updating. And you've got those functions to change the colors that we've gone through as well. That's really all I wanted to get through today. One little gotcha is if you have set the colors for the whole system and you've set the colors for yourself, when you go to change the colors, you just need to make sure you keep on changing the color for yourself as well, because once that's set, that's defined under the username, and it will keep that from prior time. So setting it for the whole system won't overwrite when a user has set the color theme for themselves. It will just apply for everyone who hasn't set their color theme for themselves yet. Okay, I'll leave that with you. And if you've got any questions, you can email me at support@interact.com.au. Cheers, bye.